Hi everyone, I'm sat here again with Gavin Thorne. Gavin joined Flexxable Paperless Blueprint about, what? 2.5 years ago. Time flies, hey? And we actually had an interview, not here, but over the other corner of the garden about 2 years ago exactly to the day. And Gavin reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, listen, let's do it again. A lot's happened since he joined, and we've obviously had a pandemic during this time, right? So I think I'm really interested to hear how Gavin's gone and how he's progressed and grown as an agency from someone that I interviewed 6 months into the program versus 2.5 years into the program. So I guess, I'm interested because I've been speaking to Gavin a little bit, but I think the way that you've is a little different to most people. I mean, from what I understand, you've hired a lot of media buyers that aren't in-house. They're kind of outsourced, and you seem to have a system where these media buyers drive traffic to your brand. You pay your media buyers, and then you keep a margin for yourself as well. So just give us an update on how things have gone and how things are looking, and over to you, mate.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Great to have you here, by the way. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you, and you. So yeah, 2 years on, and I think when I looked back on what we exchanged 2 years ago, 2 years and about 2 weeks ago, the world's changed, literally changed, and I thought it'd be really appropriate to just put down another interview so that it could explain what we've done to basically pivot, to get through it, and to grow to nearly 2.5 times the size that we were, if not a little bit more, and also have a footprint in not just the UK but US and Australia now. So we've truly gone sort of international.
Amazing.
Yeah, which has been really, really good.
But I think what happened was when all of a sudden the pandemic came, and it came really quick. We were doing personal injury leads, so all of our stuff was medical negligence, road traffic accidents, that type of thing. So literally people were not driving, and the NHS was the most important thing, more than oxygen almost. So nobody was taking any action to address their medical negligence problems. So suddenly the business looked like a bit of a showstopper to some degree.
Were you freaking out, or?
No, because I knew that even because I got into personal injury by accident, and so I knew I could get into another niche if I needed to. So I was kind of okay, but a little bit nervy. So the wheels hadn't fallen off the cart, but you could see that there was going to be a shrinkage in the market for some time.
So we pivoted. So I thought, what could we do that would actually keep our business strong? And in fact, the thing that we focused on was part of a sub niche of personal injury, which was workers' compensation. Workers' compensation, believe it or not, there was a lot of manual workers. Amazon warehouses were doing quite well, as you can imagine, for the home delivery type sector. So a lot of that was going on, and so there was still quite a big market on that. So we focused only on that. So we did that.
So you niched down just to workers' comp?
Absolutely. So
in the UK, in the States?
Just in the UK, and then we started going to the States.
Cool.
So, we'd already had one customer in the States, but we sort of focused totally on doing it.
And was that, did you get referred to clients via the personal injury guys that stopped, or was it completely new?
Completely new. Yeah, completely new outreach. It really was a case of
not start again, because obviously we had the experience and we've got the knowledge. It was people we were speaking to were green to them, and so it was a trust factor. The good thing was, with dealing with attorneys in particular, is that they've got an insatiable desire
appetite
for money, and so these guys work hard, and they've got expenses that they need to pay. So
maybe some of these guys pivoted as well when this happened. Did you find?
There was I mean, there was some laid off or furloughed, and they weren't where the money was. So for example, road traffic accidents, motor vehicle accidents just shrunk.
No one was on the road.
Very few people on the road, very few accidents, so nobody making any sort of claims. However, that's come back really strong.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah. So that's good.
And how did you land these new clients? Like in the new niche, was it paid ads? Was it LinkedIn? What was it?
It was a combination. So I went through LinkedIn, direct approach.
Direct message.
Yeah, direct message. Also, one really good tip is using your phone, and you can leave voicemail messages. So if you use the app on your phone for LinkedIn, rather than doing text message, you can't do it on a PC, but you can do it on a phone. Yeah, you just
a voicemail.
Yeah, and it's
interesting.
Staggering the open rate of
really.
Voicemail.
Is that paid? Is that paid ads? Is it? No.
No, it's just instead of sending a message, you just press
leave a voicemail. I guess it's like Facebook Messenger as well. Oh, geez, I haven't even noticed that. That's awesome.
It's super cool. So the contact rate is really, whether people do anything about it, it's really good.
Yeah.
And then what we did when we just wanted people on the phone, because in the early days we'd sort of take on anybody.
Yeah.
And some weren't fit for purpose.
Yeah.
So we get people on the phone and do a fact find call. No sales at all. It's just like literally 5-10 minutes. Can we almost just see what your business is like? Where's your growth? Is there synergy between the two companies?
Yep.
If there isn't, happy days, good luck. If there is, let's talk. How we can help you. And that was really important, because there's a lot of people do sales calls and they ultimately want a sale, no matter what they hear
on the first call.
Yeah. And I don't think that's necessarily the way. Well, it hasn't been the way to go.
No, I think you're right. When you have that initial client conversation, especially in a new niche, because I take it you didn't have any like data on kind of contact rates or conversion rates or anything in this new vertical.
No.
So I think initially you probably had to find someone that you could work with, that wanted to work with you to figure this out, rather than you being able to guarantee them results out of the gate, right? Like, or did you tell a few white lies?
Well, no, we didn't tell a few white lies, but what we did, we borrowed what we were doing for personal injury, and used that kind of backup data, if you like.
Yeah.
But equally, we didn't have. I didn't have that at the beginning, so you kind of, well, actually in the beginning I borrowed your success. So I thought, if you could do it, then anyone could do it.
Okay, interesting. And how did you go with a hybrid deal to start with, or was it straight?
Never.
Straight pay per lease?
Yeah, because hybrid deals can work if you've got trust.
Yeah.
But obviously out the gate you don't know them, they don't know you, so it's just straight pay per lease.
Harder with solicitors as well.
Yeah, it's just really funny because attorneys, we work with one attorney now. They're just in California and they spend up to $1 million a month on outreach for marketing. That's TV, video, billboards. We're not the only lead provider. They've got sub-lead providers, so they'll use ones for social media, ones on search, ones on email. Nice. So they literally are trying to suck everything out of the California market.
And how did you find them?
Just outreach.
Just same outreach.
Yeah, just outreach. It's it's a qualification process. You find the company. You can start, which is Google.
Yeah.
Go through the ones that are advertising.
Yeah.
Make contact. That's a good way to work. But then when you do,
simple's often best,
Yeah, and then when you're doing the numbers, it's really important for us to have a sized company that we can deal with that's going to be looking for 50, 100 leads a week.
Yeah.
And so the criteria for that was we looked at over 25 staff in the company. Yeah. Obviously with a personal injury department.
Yeah.
Or
team.
Yeah. Or an intake team, BDM, or multiple offices. So wherever you've got, in effect, like a larger or medium to larger company, you have them spending money on outreach, which is exactly what we want. So then we just get in front of them, like we've always done, and just divert some of their spend our way. No commitment, no contract, all the good stuff, and it's a win-win.
Nice.
And like it's always been, you can't have more of a performance-based marketing than 1 week's contract, which isn't even a contract, it's just an order. So it's
exactly. It's phenomenal. So you live by your success. And
live by the sword, die by the sword, eh?
Yeah, it's brilliant, because when you're talking to someone new, you just explain to them that if they don't have any success, then you're never going to have any success. And
yes.
Kind of a penny drops. It's we will work with you. We will do what we need to do.
Exactly.
To cross the line.
Exactly. It's nice because I think one thing that, we always slag off the retainer model a little bit, but I guess, you know, let's not knock it too much. It gave me my start, and it gave a lot of people their start.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you get to the point where you might be doing a couple of grand a month in retainer. You've got a 6-month contract, and then you start getting really good results for your solicitors, right?
Yeah.
How do you get a pay increase? How do you get rewarded for that? You know, you don't really, because they've got you at that point. And the other thing is that when I was working the retainer model, it's kind of a tug of war situation, because you've got the agency owner who's wanting to do the least amount of work possible to get the client results, and then you've got the client who wants the agency owner to do the most amount of work for their set fee. And to me, like, it just doesn't work as a model. It's much harder to do unless there's some kind of performance incentive involved. So
yeah, when I was doing, before I started doing paper lead, I was doing retainer as well, and there's just, all of that is very, very apt and very correct.
Yep.
Moreover, was that I very much found it wasn't a balanced relationship.
No,
it was
exactly.
Almost like you were the company that they had to keep kicking.
Yeah, they were your boss.
Yeah,
they were your boss. Yeah,
and I don't know if I told you, but I remember going on holiday one year and taking them with me, not physically, but they, you know, they want a piece of you all of the time.
Exactly.
Like 3,000 a month.
10 clients, 10 bosses. We all quit our 9 to 5, right?
Exactly.
In order to get rid of our boss, and then you have 10 bosses.
So many more, and also the other thing is, because they're paying you for some results, unspecified results. You could have a guide and stuff. It was also a bit of a stress, you know. So not every week is the same as the previous week.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So if you have a good week, suddenly that's your benchmark.
Yes.
And so if you don't have such a good week the next week, which you won't probably,
they'll be complaining they're on the phone.
Exactly.
You know.
And so suddenly you literally put yourself in a position of unnecessary pain for both you and them. And I think, you know, when you've taken an order for 100 leads, for example, you've agreed the criteria.
You've not specified an exact time scale because it's the first order. They know what you need to deliver.
Yes.
Simple. Everyone knows where they are. So in the first week, you know, if you only manage to deliver 10, then the second week it goes up to 25 or whatever the numbers are. They know where they are. They know they've still got to get to the 100, whereas retainers is just a trickier thing. And having spoken to quite a lot of people like you do who have agencies who do the retainer model, that's probably the single biggest pain that they have, is the never satisfied client. And if you over deliver, you don't get overpaid. So you're kind of like, and then if you over deliver, then the expectation for the next month, and so suddenly you're kind of like forever sort of chasing the dragon, and it's
don't miss that. I don't.
No, it's good to reminisce.
Enough about bagging the retainer model. We could do that all day. Right. So tell me a bit about lead delivery and how this works, because from what I understand, you're a bit like me. You're not really one to be inside the advertising account, setting the pixels up, building the funnels. You're more of a kind of client relationship person. Doing the deals, making sure everyone's happy, that type of stuff. So how did you do it?
So I realised very early that I was very bad at sitting in front of a computer screen and trying to work stuff out. I could do it, but you know, I'm of the generation that I still, when I type, I just have to check to make sure the A hasn't moved from the last time I used it. So it was just never going to work in an efficient way. So as you know, I partnered up and with somebody who loved doing that, who didn't really like the sales side of it, or the dealing with the any form of negative criticism for clients or anything along those lines. And so that kind of worked. It worked well, and from there we sort of, I grew it so every client had their own campaign. And so it was, and that was absolutely fine when you've only got like a sort of handful of clients. It works. But as you get more and more clients, it can still work, but it's not the most efficient way to do it. And so now we've gone into using lead distribution software. And that just gives us so much more scope. It gives us a lot more control over every campaign we're running. We can do a lot more with it.
So you would have one advertising account in YouTube or Facebook, and you would have a campaign in each one for each client with their own funnel as well? Oh my goodness. And that worked? It did. It's a lot of hard work.
A lot of work. I mean, it's all right, you know, up to sort of 10 clients you can still kind of do it. and then you sort of get into a habit of doing it, and then suddenly you think, this is really quite painful. The way it's scalable, but with pain. I mean, you want scale without pain, and so to bring in a bit of software that's, can we mention it?
Yeah.
Lead Byte gives you the real power to super grow. So
So for those of you who are listening that don't understand how this works, right? So let's say Gavin's old way of doing things, you'd have 5 clients, a campaign for California, a campaign for New York or whatever, 1 client per campaign. You'd run the ads, they'd deliver the leads. The cost per lead would be different in each campaign, probably. Some campaigns would do well, others not great. And it's a lot to manage. You've got different landing pages, pixels, conversion events, all that type of stuff. What you can do is actually build one funnel, drive traffic to that one funnel, and then use Lead Byte to be able to distribute the leads to New York, California, Utah, whatever that is, based on the criteria, or even the IP address of where that person, where that lead came from. So it just means that you can manage all your clients via one funnel and one campaign inside Facebook or AdWords or whatever.
There are a couple of neat things. You can dedupe before you send them across.
Yes.
And that's always nice because it gets rid of the replacements.
Yeah.
People never want to do.
Yeah. The other thing is that, like, let's say the client's CRM goes down, okay, and this happens, right? Yeah. It goes down for a day. And the old way of doing things, if you didn't have notification of that, they wouldn't accept those leads because they're not getting them. Yeah. But with something like Lead Byte, you'll get a notification back that there's a problem their end, which means you can get on the phone with them straight away and fix that. So it can save you a lot of money as well.
A lot of money and add value to the relationship.
Exactly. Yep.
Because if you're the first one to tell them their CRM's gone down,
exactly.
Kudos for you. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you pay these media buyers then?
So we work off, or the way we work off. So we've got a cost per lead. Part of that lead is the ad spend.
Yep.
So there's a percentage, whatever it may be, and it does fluctuate between 20 and 50%.
Okay. So this is the lead, the cost that you're generating the lead for inside the advertising account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the actual ad spend of Facebook or YouTube would be 20 to 50%, sometimes more. Back a month or so when the Facebook algorithm went doolally, it went up even higher than that. And then we run the campaign, so say it's 100 leads, the campaign's run, and then there's profit, and then the profit then is split.
Okay.
And payments made, so it works really, really well.
Okay.
So there's a lot, it's all transparent.
Okay. So let's say, I don't know how much you get paid per, I believe for workers' comp it's between like $100 and $300 per lead. Or
workers' comp, is rough. Let's work on $150.
$150 per lead. So let's say the lead cost inside YouTube is $75. Mm-hmm. 60. Let's say $75, which is 50%. Yeah. Roughly, how much would you pay are we allowed to talk about that? What you would pay the media buyer?
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's quite transparent with them anyway, right?
Yeah, it was split the profit.
Okay. Split the profit, 50-50. 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I imagine that's quite an attractive offer for the media buyers. Easy to get good people with a 50% split.
I've only got 2, and I've had those 2 for 18 months.
Okay.
And with the volume that I'm doing, it's worked out well. So it's
cool.
Yeah, and it's very transparent, very simple.
Yeah.
So whilst they're external to Stixx, they're very much
part of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
I couldn't do without them. They couldn't do these sort of things. So it's a very brilliant way, and that's the way that we've grown. We've now got 8 people in the Stixx all over. So we're
all over the world,
internationally remote. And plus the VAs, which
nice
is different. So
amazing. And what happens if the cost per lead gets expensive? Who takes the hit on that? Is that you, or is it shared?
It's all shared.
It's all shared.
It's always down to if there is no profit, for example. If there is no profit, then there'll be no thing to share. And, we'll be doing that campaign again. So it's purely very open and very, very simple. But I think from where we came through with the pandemic was we obviously realised that we needed to change a bit, focus our ways quite a bit, which we did, and what it really helped us do was look at the business
in more of a serious way, if you like, even though we were taking it very seriously. We'd got complacent. Things were good. It was, when we did our last interview, things were good. And when things are good, you don't always challenge. But when things become right in your face as a challenge, you then have to either stand up to it, get better, or fade away. And so that was really good. So ironically, the pandemic from a business point of view it was
a blessing.
An absolute blessing. So I won't be going back to where we were in the complacent way, because
it forced you to get better. I think that's a really important lesson inside business that I've seen over and over again. It's kind of like life, right? Like when things are good, things are good, right? You've got to enjoy it when things are good. But you've also got to kind of look forward to the troughs as well, because
that's where you learn.
That's when the good stuff happens. That's when you get forced to get better, hire someone new that's going to help you, let go of a staff member that's not helping you. You've got to look forward to that point in time, because that's when real growth happens.
And I think one of the tragedies of success, or mild success, or non-failure, is complacency sometimes. And when everything's going okay, you learn nothing. There's never a challenge, and that's the same in any walk of life, in a relationship, business, or personal. All I'd say, one big tip is, make sure that when things are going well, you're grateful for it. And don't
know that things are going to go downhill.
Absolutely, just around the corner, something's gonna make you focus in a different way, and that's that's great. So what I had quite a few people approach me
because
of
they were in a similar boat. They were panicking because they were in a situation where their businesses had sort of changed dramatically, or they'd wanted to get into doing a PPL model through seeing our previous interviews and stuff. And actually were just about to, but then things suddenly, the world sort of changed. And in fact, what they didn't realise was, because the world had changed, because people were forced into isolation and stuff, the internet became the most important place for a lot of people.
People on their phones more.
So when you're dealing with the online world for lead generation, for us it's actually probably one of the biggest opportunities in the last 5 years.
Definitely.
So when you can get people to sort of focus on what's actually happening rather than sort of panicking a bit, you can really help people move in that direction. And then what happened was, completely by freakish accident, I know you're not necessarily a big advocate of this, but I started sort of white labelling by complete accident. I didn't even think of it as white labelling. So
interesting.
I'd helped a couple of people, that I sort of knew in one of your groups, maybe. And then I helped them get their clients. I did what I did right at the beginning for myself, and gave them the belief, gave them the focus, gave them the real self-belief that you can do it. They then got a client, and it was like, no, what am I going to do?
Can't deliver now.
And it's like, congratulations, and they're like, I know, but where do we get these from? And I said, well, I can partner with you if you like, and we can do it.
Okay, interesting.
But I said, look, but I don't want this being a permanent thing for you. I really love you. I mean, you can do it like that, but you're not going to grow. So use me for your growth. Learn stuff, get some income coming in. And I've still got a couple of guys who've been here for ages. And
really?
For them.
So they kind of landed the clients for you. You delivered for them. And then you delivered for them for the time being, and then you eventually handed the reins over if they wanted it.
Right? A couple we have handed the reins over happily. Well, I don't need to know who the end user is or care who the end user is. So it was white labelled through however the white labelled partner would like it. So the end client is all their relationship, but it's some of them like the idea of just cutting an invoice, weekly, and
not dealing with all that stress.
Trusting the fact that the leads are going to come through.
And good.
And it's, so for some people that kind of works, but the idea really was just to kick people up the backside to show them
it can be done.
Get some revenue in. Learn, partner up with a media buyer or whatever you want to do. And start your own thing properly.
Interesting. And how have you dealt with all of the Facebook stuff and the moving ad platforms and cost per lead variations and all that type of stuff?
I think when we first started, it was pretty much a rule of thumb. It's always at least 50% of a margin, and that was it. And then things, especially when you grow a business, your operating costs bring down. Well, your CPL could still be the same cost per lead, but your profit, your net profit is lower because you've got more overheads.
Yes.
And I think what my view on it is, when you grow, you're going to have problems. Problems are going to come, good times and not so good times.
Yep.
And with the CPLs, if you focus so much on the cost per lead daily or even weekly, you are going to go insane, almost guaranteed.
Yes.
So you have to try and take a balanced view on making the appropriate changes that you can when you can.
Yep.
Pausing when you absolutely need to.
Yep.
But try to be brave through it all. Rather, not stupid, but brave.
Yeah.
And things are going to, look a little bit horrific. But so long as you're in the black and not way in the red, it evens itself out.
Exactly. Like we were talking about before, the tough times when your cost per lead's rising is going to force you to get some new creatives.
Yeah.
Write some new ad copy, new images, whatever that is. One of the guys, you're in our Flexxable program, which is our level mastermind, but one of the guys in there was talking about this the other day. I think he did 900 leads this week in a day for life insurance in the UK.
Wow.
And he's killing it. But he said the biggest single thing that moves the needle is the image. There's most of it on Facebook, is the image on the ad.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a meeting every single day with his team where he comes up, reverse engineers the market, looks at what's worked, and he'll just get new images up every single day. And then they'll run for 4 or 5 days at a super low cost per lead. Then they'll burn out, and he has to do it again. And that's incredible,
And that's the perfect way to do it, because what you do, you're on top of your business and you're leading your business. You're not reactive. To, at the end of the week, things have gone bad. What do I need to do?
Exactly.
And this is what we do, or what we did for a bulk of it, is we used for lead delivery, we'd do it to CRM or email. It doesn't really matter, but we'd use a Google Sheet.
For replacements, primarily, it started off just if you've got a hoax or you've got a duplicate or a bad number, we'll replace it. And we'll use the Google Sheet for that. And then we started realising that actually, if you get the client, if you've got a good enough relationship, which we do, to get the client to not just do the replacements, but also when they have a converted lead, if they can put that there, we can then track that back to the ad. And we can spend more money on that type of ad for them and for us, or audience, or whatever it may be. And also equally bad ones, we can take the money away from those bad ads. So you can actually reverse engineer your own business and make that better. And the clients love that, because you're partnering with them again. You're not just a supplier of prospects. Exactly. You're actually working with them to make their business better.
Exactly.
So if you can have that kind of, not just relationship, but also the proper working together. It's like we were saying with the CRM. If you tell them first their CRM's gone down, that's a powerful
Exactly. I think that's quite a powerful thing that you've just mentioned there, because sometimes we look at increasing the profit of our business by writing better ads or doing a split test or building a better funnel, but in fact you might just want to raise the price. You might want to have a look at the client's database and see all of the leads that have converted. Use some data to figure out where they've come from, whether it's come from YouTube or Facebook or which audience it has, and then cut out the crap and go after more of the good stuff. Exactly. You might want to try and re-engage the client's database. You might want to sell some leads on a back-end deal. You might want to charge, like with something called Lead Bite, you can charge, let's say it's a workers' compensation lead. There could be some leads that the client just absolutely loves. It's like gold dust, but you could be putting them all together for $100 a lead. But it could be that you can charge $180 a lead for the dog's bollocks, and then you can charge a premium and immediately give yourself an extra, $2 or $3 grand a week just from that. And sometimes you've got to, and that comes from talking to the client, relationships, figuring out what's working, and making kind of, I'd call them kind of non-technical decisions, which is, what me and you are probably good at. And a lot of people that are in the ad accounts every single day don't realise this, but all my big breakthroughs have come from conversations like that, rather than what's happening inside the ad account.
Yeah, and I think the great thing is, when you look at the sort of the business that we're in, which is dealing with attorneys, the gold that they want are the catastrophic injuries, and sad it is, but they don't come along every day. But when they come along, they're worth a fortune. And you're right, until you get some form of lead distribution software, you're blind. You're blind to it.
Yeah.
But equally, I'd say, and more importantly, I would actually say that I'm talking for someone who's now down the road quite a bit, not as far as you, but quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, but when you're starting off, I don't think it's that important to have that level of
filtering.
Don't
know then. You don't know.
No, you just want to start dirty, get your first client, make sure that it's a good deal, and then start building up. And that's exactly what I did, and build up your knowledge, and then start thinking about those sort of things. And what sort of a distribution software allows you to do also is take on not necessarily smaller clients, but smaller volume clients.
Yes.
And those are the ones that say, well, we only want like sort of 50 leads, or we'll only need about 50 leads over a month.
Yes.
Well, we wouldn't entertain that back in the old day, because to build a campaign, to do sort of like 12 and a half leads a week is just not, Facebook isn't going to like it because there's not going to be engagement, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I know you're a great company and all that, but we can't deal with you.
Not big enough for us.
Yeah, but now, put them in, and so long as they're aware that it's the lead's going to come as and when they come, then the world's cool. So it opens up, a whole different world that you couldn't do before.
Exactly.
So
it's interesting as well, because we're actually doing a webinar, I think, it's the end of July now. We're doing one on the 18th of August, which is 3 weeks away, where we're talking about this. So let's say you have the big clients that are taking 200 leads a week or whatever that is. They just want the leads. They've got the system down pat. They can convert the leads. But then you've got the small guys that want 10 leads per week. But you've always said no to them. But they're not good at getting into contact with the lead quickly. Their sales process is sort of. We're actually going to explain in this webinar how we can sell appointments to the small guys.
Nice,
And appointments by booking into their calendar, so they pick up the phone and they have to call at that point in time, versus selling the leads to the big boys. So you've got one funnel, one campaign, you can sell leads to the big boys and appointments to the smaller guys, which is kind of the holy grail of lead generation, because it means you can sell to everyone. So we're quite excited by that.
No, that'd be a brilliant webinar. We do live transfers as well for the very similar thing. So attorneys, some attorneys are set up, US attorneys are set up that way. They're ready to take, they've got it through a call centre. So we drive same kind of leads that we criteria leads. We then get a call centre, not our own, but a third party call centre.
Your existing database, or
no, to call the leads as they come through on the fly.
Okay, so some of them you'll sell, and some of them you'll call. Okay.
Yeah, and so we sort of filter it off that way. And, it's worked. Yeah, it's worked okay. It's something we've started doing more recently, because what I'm looking at as a business is lead generation is awesome. Paid lead is awesome. But to differentiate yourself away from that, you've got to add some value added to that. So we had to set up something where we could at least offer it, even if they didn't accept it. Just so that it showed that we weren't just a one-trick pony. We could actually do other things.
That's clever, actually. That's clever.
The way that, again, if you're looking at long-term relationship, which is what we always do, and then you see, how can you help the clients? They may not have thought about it, and put it like you were saying earlier on, putting appointments straight into their diary.
Yes.
Awesome. But they may not have thought about it. They won't probably have known how.
That's even a possibility.
Yeah, and how technically, how easy it is. So to sort of be thinking on their behalf adds a lot of. Yeah, solving the problems for them. I didn't knew they had a problem.
Well, have you tried having someone call your clients prospects? So let's say you've been working with a attorney for a year and you've delivered them 100 leads a week, so that's like 5,000 leads or whatever, and they've got a return out of those 5,000. Have you thought about having someone, like we use best offer staff for this in the States, call their 500 people and book them into their calendar? Have you tried that yet?
No, I haven't, and I think it's a great idea. For our niche, it's probably a bit more tricky.
Okay.
Because there are time limitations.
Yeah.
One hit sort of wonder, really. Whereas if you do life insurance or mortgages or a product that's evergreen and multiple and cross-selling and all that sort of good stuff, absolutely brilliant idea. But for us, it's kind of, there's a time. So if we delivered them 6 months a year ago, they're probably out of statute of limitations or whatever. But it's a good idea. So that's the downside of it. But the upside of it is cross-selling. So if we go for workers' compensation, for example, and we get that going, then we'll cross-sell in their business to do motor vehicle accidents and general PI, general personal injury.
Okay, so let's say out of these 5,000 people, some of them may have had a claim, some of them may not have. Is there anything that the solicitors, what is the cross-sell for those people who are in workers' comp? So could it be that if they've got some money back and they've got a big lump sum, do the solicitors deal with any introductions to financial advisors or anything like that?
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to look at it. I don't know the answer. Probably.
It's a good conversation to have, because you might be able to add a service to what you're doing to re-engage your clients' wins, the clients they've won with, really, and then it's worth a chat.
Yeah, no, definitely, because the other thing that we were looking at, or I've been looking at, is these people who generally have a no-win, no-fee requirement.
Yeah.
Generally are people who, not always, far from it always, but generally they're people who are optimistic, looking for an extra pound or dollar.
Yes.
And generally, so if you look at the targeting on Facebook and YouTube, it's aiming at people who would watch Jeremy Kyle and that type of thing, which is great. Yeah. Read the Sun newspaper, that sort of thing, and they generally need things like cheap phone contracts or phone deals. They need the bad credit card people,
higher interest rate credit cards.
Yeah, and that type of thing. So we've looked at how we can help people, when and particularly when they come through and they don't meet the criteria. How we can still offer them something so that our cost per lead, we can regain something if they take up an offer for something they probably need, not necessarily. So we do offer that as an option for them, but we haven't gone into the actual, the attorneys have really gone deep into that, because that would be pretty cool, because some of the payouts for some of the incidents are significant. Some not so much, but some really worth it. It's almost like sort of winning the lottery. You get advisors for when you win the lottery of how to look after your money, and it could be the same sort of thing. So interesting.
Cool. All right. So what else? I mean, where do you see the business going now? Are you looking at changing niches, or what?
Yeah. Well, we'll never move away from this niche.
Duplicating what you're doing now to another niche? Or?
Well, we looked at, so I think the biggest change is that we were just in the UK, now we're in the US and Australia, and that's pretty, when I say we've got clients there rather than, I've got people in the US, no one in Australia, apart from family, but clients are there, so we've grown that, but from a turnover point of view and a number of clients' point of view, we've only scratching the surface.
Really?
For the amount of, for the amount of prospects that are still there. Yeah. So what I envisage is that we become, the number one personal injury lead generator. Wow. The thing that's really interesting when I look at other people in the group and I look at other marketeers building great big brands and very valid things. You've got a couple of brands, haven't you? Yeah. And they're very good and they're finance related, aren't they? Yeah. So if you're still breathing, you can always need a financial product, whichever it may be. But with us, because it's hopefully a once in a lifetime event that somebody needs to claim. It's kind of it's very difficult to be a brand because you're never going to be really at the forefront. You can get yourself up to page one of Google and stuff, but it's different kind of branding. So the way we're doing it is through building partnerships with recovery automotive companies. So partners where they're in the front line.
So they can refer that person or something like that.
And kind of doctors and hospitals and get clients that way as well, so they come through. Amazing. But we tried solar. Well, we still do solar, but it's as we were talking about migrating to another niche.
Yeah, didn't work so well.
Not so well. It's well, it's okay, but it's not something that it's so different to what we do. It's a lot more I don't know, a lot more vicious in its competition.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And so people are doing great in it, and that's brilliant. And I think to try and get into it that's when you do need branded websites, because you need trust, you need
sure.
authority and stuff.
And what about moving from how do you go on YouTube? Are you doing YouTube stuff at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, how's that working for you?
Yeah, we're not doing as much as we are on Facebook. But we are migrating over, and it's not. The funny thing is, because of the niche we're in, Facebook it works.
Yeah.
And it's a bugger, because you know where Facebook's going with all of this.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing from a strategic point of view from the platforms is, rather than being an affiliate, a middleman, we are branding ourselves in Facebook land.
Okay.
So that we don't look like that we're just a lead generator on behalf of.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. That's where we're spending our time. So that when Facebook come and audit us, basically,
yes,
they look at us as a legit. Like Money Supermarket.
Yes.
The market. They do exactly what.
Yeah. But on a much bigger scale.
Yeah. On a much bigger scale. But they're doing the same thing. They literally are. And so, but they've got a great brand. They've got a trusted brand and all that good stuff. So things like getting third-party endorsements onto the website is important, because it gives Facebook trust. And I think where Facebook are going, and you probably agree, is that they will be doing what Google did a few years ago, 10, 12 years ago, by just culling all the
rubbish.
Yeah. So you've got you've got an unbounced 3-page lander. And that's it. You're gone. I think that's where, if people are having troubles getting banned, it seems to be they're not adding value to Facebook's main audience.
Yeah.
They just Facebook see them as kind of cheating the system, I think. Yeah.
It's going to happen in Google as well, with everything going on with the FCA regulations.
Yeah.
And I think some people are looking at it as doom and gloom, but as we were talking about before, when you hit that bottom, when things get tough, there's going to be opportunity coming out the other side. So
no, I totally agree, and I think because you're in the financial world, I think it's it is a lot more strict. There is obviously regulations in the legal, absolutely, but it's not the same kind of size market from where we are. I mean, if you look at the financial products that are around, they're just I don't know how many billions a day are sold.
There's a lot going around.
Yeah, there is, and then there'll be even more. So, and it will never end. Whereas, so I think that's the real sector. I think that's being used as the
guinea pig.
Yeah. And then from there, it will come to the legal sector as well. I'm absolutely sure. But hopefully by that time, that will be squeaky clean.
Well, there's still going to be a lot of businesses out there that need the leads, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. So whether you deliver one-on-one and leverage the FCA regulation, whether you get regulated yourself, whether you can be a trading style of their business, there's so many opportunities.
Yeah. It's just, and I think that's the thing, that's the word, there is opportunities, and you either see them or someone helps you see them, like Flexxable, joining something like that, where you can actually have the steer that way, or you don't, and then it's all doom and gloom, and it's really that simple, and I think it's really important to have someone guiding you. There's very few people in the world that have just started something like that from nowhere without any guidance. Every successful...
You need mentors. Mentors. I mentor people that have become successful. It's just...
And then you grow through your mentors.
Yeah.
And then you become a mentor. And then you get, and absolutely. And I think that's a really important thing for everyone to really realise, is that it's a bit cliche investing in yourself, but it's so important. Unless you're the one in a million that has the idea that you don't need anyone else, but it's going to be a flyer, then great. But if you're a regular person, with drive, enthusiasm, got entrepreneurial spirit, you absolutely
need some guidance.
Yeah, you still do. Even if it's a case of you do into its guidance.
Slow down.
Yeah. Or overcomplicating your business, or actually you're not taking the basic actions to get started. So it's an important thing.
All right, mate. Well, I think that's
Cool.
about it.
Yeah, no, been really, really
Good chatting to you again, and let's do this again in 2 years' time.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, buddy.
Good. Take care.
Take care. Thanks.